Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we have episode 8 of season 3 of the Look In series. Sometimes I do that in each season where I look back, look at every team's year, look at the future, and look into what this team is doing. Today's episode is on the San Antonio Spurs. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, getting closer and closer as the days go on. Solid support around the channel. Very, very much appreciated. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So we're talking about the San Antonio Spurs today. The Spurs this year, they finished with 34 wins, 34-48 record. Had some decent expectations coming into the season. You know, Wemby, after having an amazing rookie year coming into year 2, Brandon, Chris Paul, drafting Stephon Castle, you know, and they had a lot going on this year. I mean, you had the Greg Popovich stuff that happened where he had to miss basically a lot of the season. Then they have the old De'Aaron Fox. I think they trade deadline. They trade for De'Aaron Fox, and now they have another star next to Victor Wembanyama. And then they have the second half of the year where Victor Wembanyama doesn't play due to a blood clot in his shoulder, and then De'Aaron Fox had to get surgery on his thumb. So kind of ended not as great as he wanted it to, but there's still a lot of signs that the Spurs are going to be all right. I mean, you look at the year Wemby had. He had that slow start kind of, and then started ramping up and really showing. He made the All-Star team. Probably would have been Defensive Player of the Year, made All-NBA if not for the injury. But Wemby showing that he's Wemby, you know? And then being able to get De'Aaron Fox, who is someone that wanted to go to the Spurs. He wants to sign and stay with the San Antonio Spurs. Having a combination of a guard center like that for the future is going to be great. I mean, De'Aaron has some moments, didn't have the greatest debut with the Spurs, you know, it's 17 games. But again, he's at the thumb injury. They'll both have a full offseason now to really get together and come into next year. And really what it is about now for the Spurs is kind of building this team out. You already have your centerpiece in Wemby. You have De'Aaron Fox. Now it's really about figuring out what do we do with the rest of this team. Devin Vassell's a guy that you would think, you know, would be a good part of this team as a young shooter and defender. But he still has a lot of injury problems, played in 64 games. And maybe not as great as you wanted him to be. You know, Keldon Johnson had a really good year as a bench piece. Is he a bench piece moving forward? I guess maybe. How is Harrison Barnes, you know, as a veteran? Jeremy Sohan, where does he fit in this team? You know, he missed a lot of games due to injury. I like Sohan, but how does he really fit in this nucleus of a team? You still have to figure out a lot more depth pieces, you know, because guys like Malachi Branham, you know, Blake Wesley aren't really fitting right now. But the good thing you have is you have Stephon Castle, who the 4th overall pick in this draft, and might win Rookie of the Year because he was amazing, and he has shown you that he is going to be a long-term piece for this team in the future and could be even better than maybe we expected. I've said it multiple times. We talk about Stephon Castle and all that stuff. I believe Stephon Castle is going to be the best player in the class of 2024. I think he's just got so much talent at both ends. As an offensive guy, he can get to the rim. Playmaking has shown a lot of things. Not a great shooter yet, but you see the vision as to where he could be a solid shooter. Can play off of De'Aaron Fox and off of Wemby. And then defensively, he's going to be a guy that's probably going to take the big matchups, you know, on the defensive end. And when you have a back line of Victor Wembanyama, a 7'4" guy that's going to block 5 shots a game, that works, you know, that helps out a lot too. So Stephon Castle has a lot of potential in there with the Spurs. And if they have him developing next to De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama, having a big 3 maybe, like that core 3 right there, looks really, really nice. And now what it really is about for the San Antonio Spurs is about, you know, really building this team out. You know, right now is the time where they're going to have to go, you know, they really have to come down and make decisions. You know, like, is Devin Vassell the right guy of his team? What is Keldon Johnson's role? Can we find a way to get some more, you know, guys in here? Like Julian Champagnie. They found him and he was amazing. Averaged 10 points, 37% from 3. I like what he's done. He deserves a spot on this team. You know, they're also going to have another top pick in this year's draft. You know, probably won't be a top 3, top 4. If they do end up getting a top 3, top 4, that would be absolutely insane. That changes so much more. But they don't need that right now. Right now, they're projected to have the 8th pick, and I think that's a good pick for them. I think looking at what they could do, they can go a couple different options. If they want more spacing and shooting at defense, you can get a Concanapple if you want to. The good thing is I don't really think they need more point guard play or anything like that. So I don't think a Jeremiah Fears or you know, a Trey Johnson, I don't think that's really in the cards for them. I think more spacing and shooting obviously will help them out a lot next to Victor and De'Aaron Fox, or a guy like maybe Con Kneppel, or maybe a guy like, I don't know, they bring in Liam McNeely, maybe a Rasheer Fleming. I really really like out of St. Joseph's. Maybe even you think about Jace Richardson, just to have that. Even though you do have De'Aaron and Stephon, I don't know if you want another small guard in there, or honestly, won't be too opposed of a power forward. Maybe like a do you play around with the idea of Derek Queen if he's there at 8? Do you play around with the idea of Derek Queen and have a Victor Wembanyama, Derek Queen front court? Just super athletic and I mean athletic, but super skillful, two bigs that can stretch the floor and go get buckets and all that stuff. Like, do you think of that? Do you maybe get an Asa Newell out of Georgia, a guy next to Wemby that is going to rebound the heck out of the ball and run the floor, and that defense will be good? Or Colin Murray Boyles, I've seen as a guy. He's an amazing defender. Might be undersized, but you have a 7'4" Victor Wembanyama next to him, so it'll work out. And have a elite front court defense of CMB and Wemby. Like, I wouldn't mind that. I think the Spurs have a couple of pretty nice options they can go to here. Even maybe even get more crazy. What if Kamal Malawach is still there? What if you draft him and you get Wemby and Malawach for the future? 7-4 and 7 through the Twin Towers Part 2. With David Robinson and Tim Duncan, now you have, Vic and Malawach. Why not? If you're the Spurs, they can kind of afford to get crazy here. So they're gonna have a good pick. Potentially, are they going to get potentially two picks actually? Because they also have the Atlanta Hawks pick from the DeJounte Murray trade. So there's a chance that they have two first round picks this year they can bring in. Maybe the first guy you can kind of maybe at 8 you can kind of get like crazy, get like a Malawach or Ace or whatever. Then at 15 you can get a guy like Liam McNeely or Rasheer Fleming if they drop that low, or maybe like a Nick Clifford or Carter Bryant, down there as a spacer shooter. The Spurs are in an amazing position. I mean, I feel like the Spurs are always in a position where things are looking good. And even though they had that second half of the year that was really unfortunate, and Wemby and De'Aaron Fox both got hurt, I'm confident that we both be back next year. Who the coach is going to be, I'm not sure. Is it going to be Craig? Is it going to be Mitch Johnson? Maybe a Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone find a way to get that job. Who knows? As former Greg Popovich, guys. Well, at least I know Taylor Jenkins is. Mike Malone a Greg Popovich guy? I don't remember off the top of my head. Everybody's probably a Greg Popovich guy in the NBA, or a disciple of a disciple from Greg. He is the center of the coaching tree. But the Spurs are in a great position right now. I mean, when are they not ever? And when you have a Wemby, De'Aaron, Stephon Castle nucleus, I think the time right now is to try to build the roster out. And you have two first round picks potentially coming in this year. At least one you're gonna have. Two potential first round picks. You still have young guys like Vassell and Sohan, still trying to find out what they are in this team. Chris Paul was amazing this year. Who knows? Maybe he comes back next year. I would love to see Chris Paul back next year. Maybe not start coming off the bench, still being a leader over there with, like, why not? He had a great year and played all 82. Shout out to Chris Paul. They still have some solid vets. Like, the Spurs are going to be in the play-in at least next year. I'm calling it right now. The Spurs are at least going to be a play-in. I mean, if they won 34 games with Wemby missing half the year and all this stuff, like, I think they're going to be better next year. You think that you believe they're going to be better next year with De'Aaron Fox having a full offseason, Stephon Castle going into year 2, Wemby going into year 3, 2 more first round picks coming in this year. Like, I believe in the San Antonio Spurs front office. They're going to be a playing team next year, and they're going to be a team that's very quickly a team that does not want to be messed with. Like, I don't want to put crazy expectations and say like a Houston Rockets type. I don't want to say that yet, but I don't think it's super out of the cards. I do not think it's super out of the cards that the Spurs have a crazy year next year, because I mean, look at what they got right now. Who wouldn't want to be in the Spurs position right now after what they have? And I just cannot wait to see what the future holds for this team and what the front office does in this offseason to really put pieces around Wemby with De'Aaron, Stephon Castle, and all the things that they have, man. They have a lot of assets, a lot of good young talent. And who knows? Maybe there's been talks about Kevin Durant. Maybe they go get a third guy and be like, we're capitalizing right now on Victor Wembanyama being like 21 and on a rookie contract. We're going to get Kevin Durant. We're going to have a De'Aaron, Wemby, KD, big three. We're going to put anything we can around them, and we're going for it next year. I wouldn't bet on it for the Spurs, because the Spurs usually aren't a team that does that. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. You have Victor Wembanyama. Things are not out of the realm of possibility. He's shown you already that he's going to be able to put your team on the back and win games already. He already has the Spurs as a 34, 35 win team when just a year or two ago they're at the bottom of the NBA. So he's already shown he's going to be great. And if the Spurs really want to, maybe they could go out and pull off a crazy trigger like that. But That's up for the Spurs to decide. Want to see how they do, but I think they're in an amazing position. And right now, I cannot wait to see how they build this roster around Victor Wembanyama. But yeah, it's gonna be today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, and also like that. I'd really appreciate it. We upset a lot. Once again, around the road to 1,000 subscribers. So support around the channel be very much appreciated. There's a playlist up here somewhere where you can look at other episodes of this Look In series. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.